Empress, stop crowding us. We are not a man. Your Majesty, that is perfect. This concubine has been a man disguised as a woman all along. Preposterous. You, a brawny man of 6'1", pretending to be a delicate noble lady? This is deceiving the sovereign. Your Majesty, even if you wish to punish this concubine, it must not be in the imperial study. The sky is falling. My dear subjects, on our wedding night, we were cabined by the Empress. We are a good sovereign, devoted to our country and people, rising early and retiring late each day, diligent and conscientious. Upon the desk in the imperial study, memorials pile up like mountains. Among those memorials, some ask if we have eaten, or if our health is well. What the hell? If you would stop writing this useless drivel, we would be much better. Within our rear palace, there is a bevy of beauties, bickering jealously all day long, yearning for our favor. Yet we are truly powerless in this regard. On the Empress's first day wedded to us, we gravely informed her. We cannot perform. Cannot perform where? We said this because we are a woman. Back then, our imperial mother had no sons, so to secure her position, she falsely declared to the world that we were a male, raising us as a boy from childhood. Later, we smoothly succeeded to the throne, compelled to take many beauties into the palace, yet never once have we visited any of them. Each time we see the beauties vying for favor and flattering us, our heart is filled with bitter anguish. That feeling is truly like a eunuch's stifled frustration in a brothel. In the deep silence of the night, we can only review memorials, while cursing inwardly. In my next life, I will definitely grow one. My Empress is very beautiful, but the one flaw in her perfection is she is taller than I am. What kind of girl stands at 185 centimeters? I had always believed that my height of 175 centimeters already made me one of the finest in this world, until I met the Empress. That day, my self-esteem suffered an unprecedented blow. For other people, the wedding night is a moment worth 1,000 pieces of gold, but on my bridal night, I ended up measuring heights with the Empress. Your Majesty, this subject really is 185 centimeters tall. Please don't grow any taller. Sigh. Otherwise, I won't be able to go out with you. If you grow even a little more, I'll have to stand on stilts just to be by your side. Later, to comfort me, the Empress sent over a little kitten. I absolutely adored it. In that moment of petting the cat, I felt as though I had rediscovered the meaning of existence. I named it Milk Candy, and kept it by my side at all times, never leaving it for a moment. I hope Milk Candy can inspire your Majesty to be more diligent. Thank you, Empress. However, the good times did not last. Before long, my lazy nature resurfaced once again. Before, I would lift Milk Candy high into the air. Who is the cutest little kitty in the whole world? It's Milk Candy. Milk Candy is the cutest little kitty. But now, exhausted and worn out by the memorials, I just point at it. How come you, a little kitten, don't have to work a job? I'm living worse than a little beast. The next day, I was reading books again late into the night. The Empress walked over to our side. Your Majesty, please, go and rest. Has the Empress not always wished for us to be diligent? Why urge us to rest at this moment? The Empress was left speechless for a moment by our retort. But, Your Majesty, in just one more hour, you must attend the morning court. This subject fears you might fall asleep on the dragon throne. Nonsense. Do we seem like that kind of person? Saying this, we made our way to the bed, pulling up the covers and scooting in. We looked at the Empress, who was still standing. Are you not sleeping? The Empress said nothing. She merely picked up the manuscript we had been scribbling on. After glancing at it briefly, she hauled us up, just as we had finally warmed the bed. What exactly has your Majesty been so diligent about? We grew anxious. The bed we just warmed up. The Empress took the opportunity to grasp our hand. Her hand felt wonderful to the touch, like warm jade. We felt the warmth of her palm warm our feet for us. After a moment of silence, a sigh from the Empress reached our ears. We finally closed our eyes in comfort, but this drowsiness did not last long. Before the Empress woke us again. Your Majesty, it is time to rise. We forced our heavy eyelids open. What the hell? Did we even sleep? Time to rise already. Whoever wants to be emperor, let them be emperor. We are cooped up in this deep palace all day, reviewing memorials. Sprouts are practically growing out of our head. After much deep reflection, we have decided to leave the palace incognito. Your Majesty, please take a few more people. We are going on an incognito inspection. Bringing that many people, isn't that like walking around with a megaphone, announcing that I'm someone important? Fine. Then allow me to accompany your majesty out of the palace. Upon hearing this, I fixed her with a wary stare. Woman. You just want to go out and have fun with me. It's all an excuse. The Empress was stunned for a moment. Then sighed helplessly again. I wish to go out and have fun with you. Would your majesty be willing? Since you want to go so badly, I shall reluctantly grant permission. As expected, I just knew it. Everyone under heaven is deeply enamored with me. After we changed into common attire, I looked at the beauty before me, now completely transformed in appearance, and was momentarily struck dumb. A long while passed, before I barely managed to find my voice again. The Empress actually suits men's clothing quite well. Damn it. This male attire on him didn't look out of place at all. Gentle and refined like jade, radiant and untainted. I hate this. He's even more handsome than I am. Standing beside the Empress in male clothing, I was a full head shorter, looking exactly like a tiny potato just dug out of the ground, so I could only silently pull out my long-cherished height-increasing insoles from the bottom of a trunk. Just you wait, Empress. The moment I leave the palace, I'll walk on 2-meter-tall stilts. Just to annoy you to death. After sneaking out of the palace in disguise, I walked along the bustling main street. Gazing at this prosperous and lively marketplace, my heart filled with deep emotion. The Empress reached out a hand and with a natural gesture, tidied up the stray hairs at my temples tousled by the wind. What is it, Your Majesty? I'm looking at these scenes of everyday life, I told her honestly. And I'm just glad the common people are living well. I work myself to the bone every single day, and if the kingdom still isn't thriving, I'd be furious enough to rise from the dead. Hearing this, the Empress couldn't help but laugh aloud. Then it's a good thing Your Majesty hasn't been angered. On a sudden whim, I grabbed hold of her sleeve. Since we're out in public, just call me Big Brother. The Empress stared at me intently, saying nothing, though her handsome face showed no expression. I could clearly sense a deep, mocking contempt. What's that supposed to mean? You're not willing, are you? The Empress sighed helplessly. All right, Big Brother. A jolt ran through my entire body. It was like hearing celestial music, so satisfying. I love being called that. You two young masters, would you like to try some freshly roasted chicken? Having said that, the vendor looked the Empress and me up and down once more. As if a thought had just struck him, he turned to the Empress and spoke. This young master, why not buy one for your wife? Question marks filled my head. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Say that again. Whose wife? The Empress, however, merely curled her lips into a calm smile and even gave a slight nod. Then we'll take one. I grew frantic. Flustered, I secretly reached down and pinched her. What are you doing? Buying food. I took a deep breath and shouted at the vendor at the top of my lungs. She is my wife. I am her husband. The moment the words left my mouth, in an instant, everyone along the entire street stopped what they were doing and turned in unison to stare our way. I stood there dumbstruck, frozen in place. This is so mortifying. After fleeing in embarrassment, I stubbornly dragged the Empress to the entrance of QL. The Empress was initially very firm, absolutely forbidding me from going there. Absolutely not. And so, thus, I used every trick I'd ever learned, relentlessly, wearing her down with pestering. Your Majesty, if you truly wish to go, then change into proper women's attire. I am the son of heaven. Why must I wear women's clothing? This subject is already in men's attire. This subject wishes to see Your Majesty in women's attire. I was utterly speechless at this, but the words had a sort of illogical charm. But I am the sovereign of this nation. Then I simply won't go. How infuriating. I rarely get to leave the palace. If I'm not allowed to broaden my horizons at such a place, it's even worse than S7. Fine. If by chance he really discovers my true gender. Ha ha ha. I'll just spread a rumor saying he's the real man. Inside the ready-made clothing shop, the Empress picked out a very pink and delicate outfit for me. You expect me to wear this? I glared fiercely at the Empress. And with utter humiliation, put on this pinkish thing. Once fully dressed, I couldn't help but stand before the dim bronze mirror and gently twirled in a little circle. I have to admit, the person in the mirror is truly quite beautiful. I cupped my own cheeks in my hands and turned to the Empress with delight. So? Does it look good? The Empress stepped forward and with cool fingertips gently brushed my lips. Big brother looks very good. The tips of my ears instantly flushed a deep red. Why are you calling me that regardless of the occasion? Then I'll call you elder sister from now on. My heart gave a sudden, violent leap. Is he flirting with me? Is he flirting with me? I followed the Empress into the QL. To my disappointment, those beauties were not the peerless visions I had imagined. Rather, they were just gaudy and vulgar. Not even a match for my own imperial harem. It's very crowded here. The Empress held my hand tightly, fearful I might get lost, but I've been rebellious my whole life. I wanted to wander around alone. Although the Empress is very beautiful, having them stick to me like this, never leaving my side, made me uncomfortable. Anyway, the carriage was not far away. Once they realized I'd run off, they would surely wait for me at the carriage. I glanced left and right, picked the perfect moment, pried open the Empress's hand, and slipped away. Hee hee. As expected of me. Which family's young lady are you? Just as I was feeling smug, a pair of hands suddenly appeared out of nowhere before me, blocking my path. None of your damn business. A young lady like you. Why so irritable? I have no manners. Upon hearing this, the amusement in that person's eyes deepened considerably. You don't seem like someone from the music house. What brings you here? I tilted my head and thought about it seriously. Ahem. Came looking for some excitement. Watching a look of astonishment appear on his face, I felt quite pleased with myself. 7. Are you volunteering yourself? This gentleman. Please show some self-respect. Before the words had even finished leaving my mouth, I felt a tightening grip on my shoulder. I was pulled firmly into a familiar embrace. I whipped my head around. And it was the Empress who had found me. My grand FL enterprise has died before it even began. I am so filled with regret. The young gentleman blocking my way, seeing this, also suppressed the smile on his lips. The Empress's expression remained unchanged, her tone flat. I am her husband. I, held in her arms, was once again thrown into utter confusion. On the carriage ride back, knowing I was in the wrong, I felt terribly guilty. Carefully, I leaned in closer. Are you angry? Hearing this, the Empress merely cast me a fleeting glance, then coldly lowered her eyes. This subject would not dare. I instantly sensed grave danger. It's over. Judging by this attitude, she was definitely truly angry. Actually, a sudden gust of wind came and blew our hands apart. Do you believe me? For several days, the Empress refused to see me. Feeling resentful, I deliberately loitered outside her palace gates. From now on, I shall skip morning court and ignore all memorials. I shall embrace total negligence. But the Empress remained unmoved, completely ignoring me. In the dead of night, I could bear it no longer. I simply climbed onto the Empress's palace wall. My face was solemn, as I tightly clutched Milk Candy in my arms. Listen to me. As soon as you go in, bite him directly. Milk Candy mewed once, and without mercy, swiped at me with a paw. Insolence. Daring to strike at us? Off with all their heads. I leaned close to its ear and whispered, attempting to manipulate it. Only if you obediently heed our words. Only then would we be fond of you. No one likes a rebellious little cat. Milk Candy seemed uncomfortable being held. It struggled fiercely. Fearing it would fall, we quickly held it tight with both hands. But for the first time, the greatest miscalculated. We greatly overestimated our sense of balance, and fell from the wall in a perfect arc. In midair, we only had time to shield Milk Candy in our arms. Help! The expected scene of a bloody head did not occur. Holding Milk Candy, we fell into someone's embrace. If your majesty does not loosen your grip soon, Milk Candy will suffocate. Oh? It was the Empress. Never mind. Anyway, we were bound to make a fool of ourselves. Afterward, the Empress scooped us up and carried us into the bedchamber. We sprawled gracelessly on her bed, trying to reason with her. You cannot give us the silent treatment. The Empress lowered her eyes, calmly skimming the tea foam. I am not Seeing this, we could only start being unreasonable. Right after that, we launched into a dramatic performance with great emotion. "You're so mean. You're such a cold-hearted soul. I'm leaving right now, so you won't see me no more. Gonna ride off on my little pony. A fella like me might as well just disappear for good. Don't stop me, I'm going. I'm done with ya." The Empress, speechless, lifted us up. "Your Majesty, you know full well you are the sovereign of this nation. Should any mishap occur, no one could bear the responsibility. We are wise and mighty. How could any mishap occur?" The Empress fell silent again, just watching us calmly. I wonder what was going through their mind. I pressed my lips together and stayed silent too. As if I could ever be afraid of him. Suddenly, an idea struck me. I reached out and tugged at their clothes. "Are you jealous of me?" Seeing this, I pressed on with renewed effort. "When I was talking to that man, were you jealous of me?" Seeing the Empress remain silent. Ha ha ha. The Empress was thoroughly disgusted by me. I truly am the most brilliant mind in the whole world. Ha 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 ha. Punch the Empress. Kick the Chancellor. I am destined to rule the globe, and become the one and only overlord of the universe. Just as I was smugly straightening my robes, about to stand up and look down on the Empress with supreme disdain, I heard a very, very faint sound. So faint I almost thought I'd imagined it. "What are you mumbling about? What are you hmping about?" "Your Majesty, go to sleep. Envoys from a neighboring kingdom are visiting. Tomorrow, there will be a banquet for all the officials." The next day, I, waiting for the foreign envoys, was so bored I cursed heaven and earth, railing that they had nothing better to do, and began meticulously counting ants. The moment I heard a sound, I immediately sat upright with perfect posture, with my flawless expression, my dashingly handsome face, and my noble bearing. I was a shoo-in for a Best Actor Oscar. I am a little nearsighted. Beyond 10 meters, I can barely tell a person from a beast. I have a stellar track record of mistaking a concubine's little Yorkshire Terrier for a small child. I maintained a perfectly blank expression until that group of people drew near. I was suddenly jolted with shock. This man, I seemed to have seen him somewhere before. That familiar, foxy look about him, that familiar, ever-present smile. The same fool who threw himself at me in the music hall that day. Beside me, the Empress's grip on my hand suddenly tightened. Below the dais, that envoy was staring at me with an unnerving intensity. It made my heart pound with anxiety. Could he have realized I was actually wearing women's clothes that day? If that were the case, my lifelong reputation would be utterly ruined. I glanced at the Empress beside me and thought with profound sorrow, it's a pity the Empress isn't the meal I just ate. So she has no idea what wild thoughts are racing through my mind right now. The Empress took a handkerchief and gently wiped a grease stain from the corner of my mouth. "Your Majesty, do not be afraid." I turned and addressed the assembled ministers with a few formal pleasantries, my face set in an impeccable imperial smile. Damn it all. How could I possibly not be afraid? What kind of nonsense is that? Sigh. After returning to the palace, I carefully replayed in my mind the entire conversation from that day at QL. A sudden thought struck me. It wasn't just me who had worn women's clothes. The Empress had clearly changed into men's attire as well. Realizing this, my confidence instantly returned. A couple is like birds of a single wood. When disaster strikes, neither thinks escape is any good. The Empress looked utterly bewildered. "Your Majesty, please act normal." In the Great Hall, the envoy first delivered some high-sounding formalities, while I could only maintain my imperial composure and go through the required courtesies with feigned sincerity. I sat above, grinding my teeth and listening in silence, cursing him inwardly as an utter fool. Then, his topic took a sharp turn, veering into an angle so bizarre it left me deeply shaken. He actually said he wished to enter the palace as an imperial consort. I erupted into a torrent of silent curses. Is this guy's mental state even normal? But the envoy completely ignored the death glare I was shooting at him from the dragon throne. "This subject has long admired your Majesty, and I have long admired you. I hope your Majesty will consent to foster friendship between our two nations." With that, his gaze actually shifted back and forth between me and the Empress several times. With my years of experience in reading comprehension, the meaning of that look was unmistakable. If I didn't let him enter the palace, he would expose me on the spot, spilling every last detail of my cross-dressing stroll through QL that day. At my side, the Empress finally spoke up. What does your majesty think? I think I'll just sit here and watch. Your majesty, please do not jest. I looked at the faintly threatening glint in that envoy's eyes. Then turned back to see the icy expression on the Empress's face beside me. After much painful deliberation, I thought, fine, I'll agree for now. As for how to survive in this deep palace afterward, I'll figure something out later. Night fell. I dragged my heavy steps toward that envoy's palace hall. I really savored that feeling of being about to mount the executioner's block. The envoy's surname was Gu. To safeguard my secret, I had no choice but to tearfully appoint him as noble attendant Gu. Clutching milk candy tightly in my arms, I crouched dejectedly outside noble attendant Gu's palace gate. How am I supposed to go in? Suddenly, a wicked thought sprang into my mind. I looked down and prodded the milk candy in my arms. You go in for me. Milk candy just lowered its head and licked its paws, completely ignoring me. Is your majesty engaging in performance art? I looked up in a panic and found noble attendant Gu standing right before me. I had no idea when he'd arrived. He smoothly crouched down as well. Where did this little cat come from? It's my little cat. Its name is Milk Candy. That's not the one I meant. You saw that day, didn't you? Saw what? This big-tailed wolf, playing dumb. Must we personally speak aloud such a humiliating matter? I simply turned my head away and ignored him. I lowered my head and focused on playing with milk candy. Seeing this, noble attendant Gu leaned his body a little closer to me. Are you angry? Get lost. No. Could it be you're talking about that pretty girl from the music hall? How does your majesty know? Did your majesty also go to the music hall? Get lost. I did not go. Wearing women's clothes is just wearing women's clothes. I won't laugh at you. In my desperation, I grasped at any straw and without hesitation, used the Empress as a shield. Well, the Empress wears men's clothes. Why don't you go laugh at her? Noble attendant Gu gave me a flat glance. Him wearing men's clothes. What's there to laugh about? What do you mean? What do you mean? You just simply look down on us. I absolutely do not. Don't keep squatting out here. Let's go inside and talk. Can we not go in? We just barely managed to soothe my wife. It's all your fault. My wife is angry again. Are you sure it's wife? Why are you talking such nonsense? If the Empress isn't our wife, then who is? If you think so, then so be it. I could endure it no longer. I bared my teeth and claws and lunged at him. Explain yourself clearly. Those who only half speak deserve death. Speak. Come on, speak. Figure it out yourself. How annoying these stinking men are. Always speaking in riddles all day long. Once inside the bedchamber, I slumped against the edge of the bed like a corpse. Yet still did not forget to put on imperial airs, commanding noble attendant Gu to make a pallet on the floor. Why not sleep together? You still wish to sleep together with us? In your wildest dreams. Ugh. But I came to offer myself as your bedmate. Get the hell out. Offer yourself as a bedmate. I never want to hear those words again in my entire life. Get lost. Left with no choice, I had to hold my nose and tearfully confess to him the cruel secret that I couldn't perform. No matter. I can. You can, my ass. That absurd wedding night ended with us using the sleeping milk candy as the dividing line, each lost in our own thoughts, barely managing to sleep through the night. The next morning, when I woke up and looked at the sleeping attendant Gu, I clenched my fists. Why do I have to rise early for court, while he gets to sleep in? Without any courtesy, I violently shook him awake. Get up for morning drills. No sleep until you've sculpted 82 pack abs. Huh? I glanced at his legs and grew even more envious. One after another, they're all so tall. Damn it. Saw them all off. Saw them all off for me. Inside the imperial study, just as I finished reviewing memorials, the Empress came to see me. She looked at me with a blank expression. Did your majesty rest well last night? I started to panic. Her flat tone was laced with countless layers of veiled sarcasm. She was clearly scolding me in a roundabout way. Faced with such a battlefield of love, what could I do? I could only brace myself, spout nonsense, and play the victim. I spent the entire night longing for my Empress. I rested terribly. Your Majesty is burdened with countless state affairs. You need not concern yourself with me. Like being tossed into a vat of aged vinegar, pickled for a full 81 days. The thick, fermented scent of jealousy was overwhelming. Seeing this, I quickly scurried over to fawn on her like a bootlicker. I do care. Your Majesty, the chestnut chicken is ready. Upon hearing this, my eyes instantly lit up with dazzling brilliance. I want some, I want some. The Empress's chestnut chicken is the best. After eating and drinking my fill, I savored the delicious taste of the chestnut chicken while smugly concluding in my heart. Winning a woman over isn't hard at all. It's simply a matter of telling some unrealistic but pleasant-sounding lies with a straight face. I truly am a qualified husband. I have now skillfully mastered the top-secret technique for domestic harmony. In the afternoon, I ran into noble attendant Gu in the imperial garden. Unlike the other consorts in the harem, she was sprawled in a pavilion, sound asleep. Seeing this, I rushed over as if I'd found a kindred spirit. You like sleeping too? Noble attendant Gu was awakened by me. She barely opened her sleepy eyes under the harsh sunlight. Tang Tang? Huh? What Tang Tang? I eyed him up and down with suspicion. Then couldn't wait to share my glorious achievement with him. I've soothed my wife's anger. Why aren't you praising me? You're so cold. Noble attendant Gu, upon hearing this, lowered his eyes. His voice sounded somewhat dejected. The person I like has soothed the person she likes. What is there for me to praise? That sentence left me utterly confused. You like me? Just kidding. I wouldn't be interested in you. I immediately became embarrassed and enraged. I launched a fierce verbal attack on him. You're asking for it. As night fell, the Empress casually remarked, It seems your Majesty has recently been getting quite close with noble attendant Gu. Not really. He is my good brother. He has no such intentions toward us. A good brother. We nodded emphatically. What else? We are no degenerate. How could we possibly have thoughts about a man? No sooner had the words left our mouth than the Empress's expression soured further. Does your Majesty truly not favor men? Watching the Empress's retreating figure, robe sweeping away, we stood bewildered in the wind. Truly, a woman's heart is as unfathomable as the ocean depths. These past days, attendant Gu has taken to calling us Tang Tang. Why do you call us that? You like sweets. Don't tell me you've set your sights on our milk candy? Let us tell you, don't even think about it. Attendant Gu did not reply, only kept his gaze fixed on us. Why are you always clinging to him? Huh? Huh? Do you fancy him? Hearing this, we reached out and felt his forehead. What nonsense are you spouting? Attendant Gu paid it no mind, simply taking our hand and lowering it. Tang Tang. We wrinkled our nose in distaste. Our name is not Tang Tang. What's so good about him? We fell into a long silence upon hearing this, then could not suppress our irritated reply. Are you playing guessing games with us? If you won't say who, how are we supposed to know? Attendant Gu glanced at us, slightly raising an eyebrow. Who else could it be? Your wife. Our wife. Of course we fancy her, and if she were not your wife? You wouldn't be trying to sow discord, would you? How could she possibly not be our wife? Could she be having an affair? Think again. We stood there racking our brains. I racked my brains, but still couldn't figure it out for the life of me. But she is clearly my wife. She always cooks delicious food for me, and she's so gentle with me. She's fragrant, soft, and tender. Hearing this, noble attendant Gu gave a teasing smile. Soft? Huh? I carefully replayed it in my mind. The Empress was indeed beautiful and lovely. and she carried a pleasant fragrance. But when held, she felt rigid and stiff. I had once secretly grumbled that she wasn't soft at all. How did noble attendant Gu know that? After a furious brainstorm, I finally arrived at a shocking conclusion. You've held her? You are the one the Empress is cheating with. Noble attendant Gu closed his eyes and took a deep breath, sighing inwardly. How had he fallen for such a fool? He was too weary to let me keep guessing wildly, so he straightforwardly revealed the truth. Do you really think? That day at the Qing Tower, the Empress was a woman disguised as a man? Isn't that right? So stupid, but a woman could also grow too. And besides, not all women have X. It's normal for her to be flat X, monthly cycles. There are plenty of people who don't get their period. Ta-ta-ta. As I rambled on, I suddenly realized I simply couldn't keep the story going. All those past events. One could be a coincidence. But when they all pile up together, each and every one, could they really still be coincidences? What don't I know? Hearing this, I turned and walked away, but noble attendant Gu blocked my path. Going to demand an explanation? My body froze in place. If I were to demand an explanation, what right do I even have to do so? Haven't I also disguised myself as a man and deceived the whole world? But he clearly lied to me. That big liar. I muttered a reply under my breath. I'm done with him. Afraid noble attendant Gu wouldn't believe me, I repeated it again, more emphatically. I am never speaking to him again. Then pay some attention to me. Tang tang, turn around and look at me. Get lost, stop joking around. Noble attendant Gu parted his lips slightly, but in the end, he simply swallowed 1,000 words. Forget it. I'll stop teasing you. From then on, I kept avoiding the Empress. For several days in a row, I did not go to see the Empress. My mind was in complete turmoil. Every day, I kept thinking, I'll deal with it tomorrow. One night, I was sleeping soundly, when I suddenly sensed someone beside me. I was so frightened I held my breath. I cracked my eyes open slightly. What a tall assassin. Taking a closer look. Whoa, an assassin in women's clothing. I was plotting to strike while he was off guard, but unexpectedly, he spoke first. Your Majesty is awake? That voice carried a familiar strangeness. Hesitantly, I called out. Empress? Instantly, a surge of anger rose within me. I grumbled aloud. Are you standing by my bed in the dead of night cosplaying a ghost? Even if I had 8 hearts, that's no way to scare me. The Empress said nothing. The air around us was freezing, so cold that the very atmosphere around me seemed about to solidify completely. I suddenly realized something, and my voice involuntarily grew somewhat stiff. Were we giving you the silent treatment? Damn it, we lost. How could we have spoken to him first? Why the silent treatment? The night within the hall was too thick, making it impossible to see his expression at that moment. I just inexplicably shivered. After holding it in for a long while, we could only dryly squeeze out a single sentence. You don't know? The Empress silently sat down on the edge of our bed and naturally took our hand. Did noble attendant Gu say something? As if shocked by lightning, we abruptly pulled our hand back. And men and women shouldn't touch casually. Your Majesty. You have also deceived your chinchilla. You're a grown man, can you stop calling yourself chinchilla? How did we deceive you? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Our disguise as a man was so perfectly maintained. How could he possibly know we are not a man? It was quite obvious. After a long moment, we could only manage an awkward smile worse than a grimace. Actually, we were originally a 188 centimeters tall, dark-skinned athlete, but a serious illness left us with lingering effects, turning us into a 175 centimeters pale, skinny weakling. The Empress fell silent for a moment. Can we hold hands now? No. Men and women shouldn't touch casually. Before the words were fully out, the Empress directly leaned over and embraced us. Go away. You're a big man, why are you hugging me? The Empress, holding us, visibly paused for a moment. What did your Majesty say? We raised our voice, declaring righteously, you are a man, how can you still be the Empress? Your Majesty, the Empress helplessly let go of us. Does your Majesty feel nothing for your chinchilla? Why let us think it over again. At this moment, we only felt a splitting headache. We didn't know what feelings we truly held for the Empress. Nor could we immediately accept the Empress's transformation. The Empress did not press us relentlessly. She simply tucked the blanket around me with gentle care. The next day, I went to pour my heart out to Attendant Gu. He has feelings for me. What am I supposed to do? Come a little closer. Though puzzled, I still shifted toward where he was sitting. I like you. I was so startled my hand trembled, and I nearly dropped the kitten in my arms. Are you out of your mind? Attendant Gu didn't take offense, but instead burst into a bright laugh. It's not the same. Before I could figure out what he meant by that, he had already lifted his head and said to me with clear, earnest eyes, like, if you like someone, go after them. The tips of my ears instantly burned hot. What nonsense are you spouting? Don't leave yourself with regrets. Just give it a try. My heart still wavered with hesitation. Do you really think I have feelings for him? Attendant Gu resumed his usual carefree expression. You're the fool. I'm certainly not. I'm going to throw a fit. I really am. Attendant Gu didn't respond, just stared blankly at the tea leaves in his cup. He looked deeply unhappy. A soft, warm little cat suddenly appeared in his arms. He looked up in astonishment and saw the girl he had cherished for 10 years. You can play with milk candy for a while. Cheer up a bit. This scene was exactly like that day 10 years ago. She had given him, dirty and ragged back then, some small silver coins and a piece of sweet malt candy. Here, have some malt candy. Don't be sad anymore. And now, she stood before him all awkward and flustered. Here, take milk candy. Cheer up a bit. In a daze, Guguasher suddenly couldn't tell which year he was living in. He only heard himself answer, somewhat distantly. All right. She may not have accepted me, but I don't walk away with nothing. I have 2 sweets she gave me with her own hands. One is this lively little milk candy. The other is that malt candy from years ago, sweet right down to the heart. I decided to send milk candy to cheer up that mask-wearing man. As for myself, I sneaked over to the Empress's palace, planning to scare him the same way he scared me last night. But before I could pull it off, he caught me red-handed. Your Majesty, the main gate works just as well. I lifted my chin defiantly. I happen to like climbing walls. Mind your own business, ahem. Truth is, I'm not completely indifferent to you either. So, in that case, let's just HC together from now on. I counted on my fingers and laid out my reasoning for him, clear and logical. Look, if the two of us got together, we'd definitely fight, break up, make up, fight again. And keep at it until we're old. That's way too much trouble. Better to skip straight to the end. So let's just go straight to HC from here on out. The Empress looked at me. All right. That must mean spending a lifetime together, right? Not long after, Guguasher left. When I got the news, I cried for 2 whole days. Seeing this, the Empress walked over. Can't bear to let him go? Sobbing loudly, I wailed my accusation. Of course I can't bear it. That wretched man took milk candy with him. I'll hold a grudge against him for the rest of my life. Wah wah. I only said I'd lend milk candy to him for a while. I never said I was giving her to him. My heart aches so much. You men are all no good. Whatever you say is right. Later, noble Attendant Gu, who had gone far away, still sent me all kinds of candies. Not only that, inside there was always a little tuft of cat fur. I looked at those little tufts of cat fur, and couldn't help but gasp. Please don't let any more fall out. If you keep plucking, my milk candy will go bald. Later, the Empress finally told me. Exactly when he found out I was a woman disguised as a man. On our wedding night, you had your monthly cycle. What, can't a man have a monthly cycle? That is truly chilling. The Empress looked utterly speechless. I leaned in closer, prying curiously. What's your story? And why are you a man disguised as a woman? Hearing this, the Empress actually fell silent for a moment. My eyes immediately went wide. What is it? What is it? Is there something you can't tell me? The Empress lowered his eyes and spoke with some difficulty. There was not a single girl in my clan. The Empress coughed awkwardly. My father wanted to climb the social ladder by marrying into royalty. But the late emperor had no princesses. Only 5 princes. And my clan also happened to only bear sons. It seems we both share the same predicament. After that, stop calling yourself this subject consort and stop wearing women's clothes. From now on, I'll protect you. No one will dare say anything about you. Heh. Your Majesty. It's dark now. Let's do what should be done. The night was deep. Red candles flickered. What a perfect spring night.